Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today we're going to do a short video. It's going to be just doing the oil change on my bike. I've got a 2009 Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R, and then right after that I'm just going to do a little install video, nothing crazy, just the quick attachment for like a battery charger. You connect it to your battery and then run it through your frame towards, it's sticking out, so you don't have to take the seat off your bike every time you want to when you're stowing it for the winter and you want to charge your battery. You don't have to take the seat off and actually connect directly to the battery. It just routes through from the battery through the frame, and then you can connect your charger right to it. So we're going to do that, the oil change, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so here we go. We've got the bike up on the stands already. Don't judge me on the mismatched stands. I got a pit bull front stand here, and then honestly some generic rear stand. I don't even know what brand it is. But when I first bought the motorcycle, the guy I bought it from gave me this stand with it. So I went out and just bought this. It was like $45, I think, from Harbor Freight Tools. And it works just fine. And just wanted to show you a couple things first for anybody who's never done an oil change on a motorcycle, even a car for that matter. It's nothing crazy, nothing your average person can't do. I think a lot of people tend to think that working on any type of vehicle is some kind of rocket science, and some things can be, but most things are not. It's simple mechanical stuff that your average person can understand. So anyway, so right here, this is on the, if you're sitting on the bike, this is on the left side of the bike. I'll zoom in so you can see it there, try to focus a little bit. And, yeah, there we go. So there's the oil filter. Zoom back out, you can kind of see where I'm at. Just right off the, the side of the motor there. Friggin', here's the oil filter, and you can probably see it's a K&N. I'll get in a little closer there, and if you can tell, it's kind of in a tricky spot. It doesn't really look like you can get a wrench in there, so that's one of the reasons why I use the K&N filters, because they have the, I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way here, they have the wrench off, excuse me, there's a nut right here on the end of the filter, and you just put a socket with an extension on there, and you can get it right off, no problems. When I first got this bike, the guy that I bought it from, he took it places to get the oil changed, and they put just a basic oil filter on there, and I had to I couldn't get it off. I didn't have any way to get a wrench in there, so I actually ended up having to stab it with a screwdriver. I'm sure some people have had to do that to get it off. Stab it with a screwdriver and then spin it that way. Not an ideal way to do it, but again, that's why I use the K&N filters. They make it easy. Not necessarily that I think they're any better, versus it's K&N, high speed, but literally just for the nut in it, it makes taking it off so much easier. So there's that. We're gonna take that off, and then also, I don't really get underneath the bike, but if you look right down in this little hole, if you can see, try to zoom in on it. But right down there in that hole there, you can see it is the nut for the oil drain plug. So that we're gonna get an oil pan under there. Unscrew that. Let the oil drain out, take the filter off, let it all drain out, and then go from there. Okay, so we're gonna get started on this. One of the annoying things when it comes to changing the oil on this bike is, if you can tell, the oil filter is up high on the motorcycle. So when you undo this filter, oil, there's residual oil left in there, and it just pours out of here and runs down the side of the motor down and gets into stuff. So it's really annoying. I haven't really found a good way to keep it from happening. So really what I do, I just take a piece of paper towel, and I try to just stuff it down in here to to keep the oil from, just getting everywhere. I mean, it's still gonna happen. And the only thing you really need to do this for this K&N filter, as well as the oil drain plug, all you need is, like I said, I just got a basic ratchet, an extension, and a 17mm socket, and it works for both the filter and the plug. Go ahead and loosen this guy up, and as soon as it gets loose enough, it's gonna probably just start leaking oil. But you see how easy that was? Like, I love these K&N filters, and so trying to, get some kind of, traditional oil filter wrench or something in there, it's just not, it's just really not feasible. You end up bending up and breaking the oil filter and probably making a bigger mess than you want to. So it came loose there. I'll go ahead and pull it off, and actually it maybe it's just because my motorcycle hasn't been, I think, ridden in like a month or so maybe there wasn't a whole lot of oil up there. But it really didn't leak much oil, so that's pretty good. That's what you want. The less mess you make, the better. And then I'll just try to get in here, clean up a little bit. See, in there you can actually see where that plastic piece right there in the middle of the camera there, it broke off when I was trying to get that first filter off. And see, like I said, that's what you don't want. That's why the K&Ns are they're quite a bit better. Like I said, I really enjoy using them. But so yeah, we'll just clean that up a little bit. Get some more paper towel in there. Just clean that up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just gonna have oil right back in it. But yeah, just clean it up a little bit, and looks pretty good. And then we'll move on down to the actual oil filter plug itself. All right, so we're gonna get started on the actual oil drain plug. And again, it's literally just right up here, up underneath the fairings. When you first take the plug out, the oil kind of comes out so fast. It'll get on the front fairing here a little bit, but I haven't really noticed a huge benefit necessarily behind taking this off first, so that doesn't happen. It's just a little bit more work. So I don't do it. I'll just take a paper towel afterwards and clean up, under this lip a little bit. It's nothing crazy, so I just leave it on. If you have a bike like this or the same bike, you can take it off if you so desire, but I just leave it on. And then so just going to get on this plug here. Yeah, for some reason that guy was on there really tight. But alright, so I got it broke loose, and we'll just get the oil pan under it. And I'll just twist it off with my finger until it pops off, and there it goes. And just let that drain out nice and good. Go ahead and pull this out of there. Sometimes I forget about it. And I'm in there, fishing around in soupy oil, trying to get it out. Alright, so while we're sitting here waiting on this oil to finish draining, I'll give you kind of a quick tour of my garage. It's kind of small, it'll be really quick, but here we go. But yeah, it's nothing fancy, it's like literally just wide enough you can fit a, smaller car in here. Now it's longer than anything, but it's a little dirty. I need to clean it up as well, especially this corner back here. And got a couple shelves that I need to get put up against the corner back here, and then I can organize everything. So it looks really cluttered right now, but I'll take care of that here directly. Got my toolbox, and then my compressor, and do a little bit of stuff in here, but nothing too crazy really. It's kind of about the perfect size just to work on the motorcycle. Once you get a car in here, it's pretty tight. And then some of these oil stains here. So this big one that my camera is actually sitting on right now was we were doing the oil change on my buddy's BMW. He's got like a 98 BMW 320i or something. But apparently the people he bought it from, I'm going to assume hadn't changed the oil in a long time. This oil was, it was just disgusting. And so what happened was these little oil pans here, and you can see this one's kind of overflowed, but the plug in the middle. So what I did was I put it underneath the car and I took the oil. I forgot to open that little plug in the drain pan, so it was closed. And when I drained his oil out, it filled up. You know, I didn't realize it. I just pulled the plug and then I let it be. So when I came back like a couple minutes later, I realized that, you know, I looked under there and saw that oil had spilled all over the ground, and yeah, it was just everywhere. So I reached down in there and unscrewed the plug real quick, you know, so the rest, so it could drain down to the oil pan and wouldn't get all of it on the floor. But yeah, so that's the result of that. And his oil was like, I just gotta get some degreaser and a scrub brush and it'll come right up. But so yeah, his oil was just disgusting. One day, probably once everything thaws out, I'll get in here and some degreaser and scrub it up. It should come up no problem. But yeah, so it looks like we're pretty much done there. I see it still dripping a little bit, but yeah, we'll get in here and finish up. All right, so it looks like we're pretty much done draining here. So I'm just going to get the drain plug and hand screw it back in there where it goes, and then we'll get this oil pan out of the way. If I can find the hole, but yeah, just hand tighten this back in there for now, and then I'll get the oil pan out of the way and put it back on. Clean up any oil that I got under there. Shouldn't be much, if any, though. And then, like I said, just kind of run the paper towel over right here and get all that road grime and whatever oil piled up under there. All right, so now get this oil pan out of the way, and then we'll just snug this bolt back down, and this portion of it will be done under here. There it goes. She's snug and good to go there. All right, so I said we're about to get this oil filter back on and then fill her back up with oil. So just for your essay here. So again, like I said, I use the K&N wrench off. That's what they call them, wrench off filters. And the exact one for this particular bike is the KN 303. So if you want to get that same filter, this is it for the 09 Ninja ZX6R. Again, the K&N 303. And like I said, I just really enjoy them. They make getting them on and off pretty easy. And then the oil that I use on this bike, since I've had it, I've never used any other oil, but it's just the Mobile One 4T Racing 10W40. That's pretty much it. And it takes about 3.5 quarts, maybe a little bit more. So I always just get 4, and then I have some left over for whatever reason. Just carry over to the next oil change. I'll just take a little bit of oil out of one of these, like just dip my finger in it and kind of lube up this ring a little bit there, and then just screw it on and go from there. And then since once we do that and the drain plug's already back in, then we can just fill it back up with oil. Alright, so here we go. We're just going to reinstall install the new oil filter. Can't reinstall something that wasn't on here to begin with. So, yeah, just make sure, thread's in there right and doesn't cross thread. I think it'd be kind of hard to do, but you don't want to cross thread anything. So once I get it about as tight as I can with my hand, then I just grab the wrench and give it about another quarter turn to half a turn. These things don't need to be, they don't need to be super snug or anything. So that's one thing that annoys me with some people in oil filters. They, that one was actually a little more, but yeah, so they don't need to be like cranked down to the point where, you know, you have to apply significant pressure to get them off. Here, right here is the oil fill port, and all you do is just unscrew this guy. I had to use earlier I don't know why the tool is eluding me right now, a pair of pliers, there you go, to unscrew this thing, or at least loosen it because it was super duper tight. But yeah, just unscrew this guy here, get you a funnel and your oil, and fill it back up. Like I said, this one takes about 3.5 quarts to full, and then there's a little window here on the side of the thing that'll, it has 2 lines on it that'll let you know. I'll see if I can get a close up of that here in a minute. But yeah, that's all you do. Take this off, fill it back up with oil, make sure the level's good, let the bike run, check it again, make sure the level's still good, and call it a day. Alright, so what I'm going to start with here is just disconnecting the battery, but so here's what I'm going to be installing, in case you were wondering. But yeah, it's just a quick connector. This plugs into your battery charger, and then obviously you have the positive and negative terminals that connect to your battery, and then so you connect this into the battery, route this end through the frame, and I'll show you where I end up routing it. Route this end like down through the frame and have it sticking out somewhere, so you don't have to take the seat off like this and plug into the battery every time. You can just plug into your little quick connect. So I'm just going to start by unhooking the battery, and this is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt simply because of the nuts, the screws that hold the battery cables on are a pain in the butt to hang on to. Okay, so I got that one off. I got my handy little magnetic hoo-ha here. But yeah, there are the little nuts, like this one isn't bad, but the positive terminal here is like the wrong way, so it's a pain in the butt. You'll see, it's ridiculous. When I was putting this battery in, it was a pretty good pain in the butt. So we'll see if it gives me the same problems as it did last time. But okay. So we have them disconnected here, and now we just need to get this guy hooked up. So this one for the negative terminal should be pretty simple. However, I'm going to start with the positive terminal first, and I'll do it like this. I'll start with the positive terminal because I think it's going to give me the most problems. But we shall see. Alright, so I just simply put the bolt through the loop on the positive side of this cable, and then I'm going to try to screw it back on here, but trying to nope, that actually worked a lot easier than I thought it would. So I'm going to have it face this way just to make it easier. But yeah, that worked quite a bit better than I thought it would. There we go. I thought that was going to be a little more painful than that, but apparently not. So, all right, now we'll just go back over to the negative side. And we'll see if this one's good to me. And I actually can't see. So, yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be good. There we go, got it. I don't know if y'all saw that. So the problem was the nut fell down in there and the screw couldn't go in far enough to thread into it. So I had to use the magnet to kind of lift the nut up to where it was close enough to the screw to where it started to thread. So that was what just happened here. That was what was going to be the most pain in the butt, and I thought it was going to be the positive side. It turned out to be the negative side. So, all right. So that was pretty much the difficult part. Now, okay. So what I actually ended up doing was I routed it a little bit differently, but same concept. You just got to find somewhere to route it and somewhere where you're comfortable with mounting it and then securing it somehow. So y'all saw the putting the actual on the actual battery terminals, and then we were just trying to find a place to route it. So this is what I ended up doing. I actually ended up coming to the other side, and I just kind of found a place to tuck like a little bit of excess cable, which is just right up under this lip here, and then I routed it down. You probably can't see, but I just routed it down here between like the gas tank and the frame, down by some cabling, and then it just goes through the frame. And I actually had it stick out right here by the brake fluid reservoir back here, and then the cap that caps this off, I actually used it as kind of a securing device as well. So when I'm riding, it might move around a little bit, but this little loop around the back of the cap is what's holding it in place here, so it's not going to fall down too far and get into anything or whatnot. So that was kind of my way of securing it. And then the length of the cable, most of it is actually used, so there's nowhere where I really have to stash or secure any excess cable, because the length of the cable is pretty much perfect for where I routed it. So that was what I ended up doing. And also, just to show you, just 1 second, let me grab my headlamp. No, but so the oil fill reservoir here, and this is actually just slightly overfilled, but it should be just fine. It's slightly high, but you see those two lines on the right, that is the the minimum and then the maximum, and then I don't know if you can really see, there's a air bubble in the top of the window there, and it's just a hair over the max fill line. So it should be good there. But like I said, this was after the motorcycle was run, and then I checked the oil level again, and it looked like it was a little bit low. So I had to add more fluid, and then I let it run again and checked it, and it's good to go now. So that pretty much sums everything up. We got the oil change done, got the this battery terminal thing installed, which I think that's going to be money for me now. I don't have to. Everywhere I've been lately, I've had to And I was in Alaska before coming here, so I've been having to put my bike on a charger in the winter. You know, unfortunately, I don't live in one of those places where you know, you can ride year round. You know, yeah, I have to put my bike up in the winter. The last 2 places I've lived, so I have to put it on the charger. You know, and make sure, especially in this garage here, because this garage is not heated. So if I just leave it in here all winter, it'd probably kill the battery, and then, you know, every winter I'll be having to you know, buy a new battery for my bike, and they're anywhere between like $65, $75 a pop, and I'm just not about that. So I'm glad we got this done. I can put the seat back on and call it a day.